Welcome to the Mormon Medium Podcast, where we'll talk about spirituality, the paranormal, religion, and my journey in becoming a Mormon medium. I'm Nanette Ride. Thanks for listening. Now let's go have some fun.
Don't be afraid. Close your eyes. There's a moon overhead, but the sun will rise. Blood on our lips, such a poisonous bite. The sound of our hearts go bump, bump, bump in the night.
Today, we are going to continue the conversation that we had with LtG from the PSS After Hours podcast.
And he's super cynical.
He is cynical, but Nan is starting to win him over. And I think this is going to be a great episode.
I know, it's going to get weird.
Things are going to get weird. At least that's what LT might say. Now, thank you for jumping in again. Here we go.
I'm super curious to go there. I want to go there with you now with your three senses that are open and have you be open to learn. Not to shut it down, but to learn and be like, okay, teach me. Teach me.
I'm kind of freaked out at this point. I don't think I want to do that. Like I'm
Fine, I'll go alone.
No. I'll go back.
Okay.
I'll definitely go back, and I'd love to go back with you guys and have you go with us, and we'll take all the equipment we took last time.
I bet you we could get in.
That would be cool. And here's the thing too is, like I said, we weren't on Skinwalker Ranch when I said bring on that weak ass shit. When we went up onto the mesa and we went to the medicine wheel that's on the mesa, I was super respectful. And it wasn't just because the history of the place is something that I think deserves respect. I'm the skeptic. I keep saying it, and you guys know this. Not because I believe that there are spirits there that I have to be respectful to.
Right.
I just feel the area deserves respect because it's history.
Exactly.
Well, kind of like Gettysburg. You've been
Absolutely.
to Gettysburg.
Yes.
It's history.
Same.
And it's very sacred. It's very solemn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like the place I ultimately would love to go is Thermopylae.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it doesn't look anything like it used to be. In Greece, it looks nothing like it used to be. The coastline isn't the way it was, but they still have the mound where supposedly the 300 Spartans were buried.
Oh, wow.
And people have actually dug around, and you can find spear tips and arrowheads in that area.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but just to go there and just to feel the respect for the history. And I don't know, maybe that is, the more I think about it, maybe that is me feeling that area, air quotes, feeling it, where you're saying that I have that third sense. Maybe it is. Maybe my respect for the history is coming across that way, but it's really a respect for whatever is there. But I guess the way I justify it in my mind, because I don't want to believe in a lot of the stuff, is to say that, no, it's just respect for the history.
Right.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
That is okay.
But at the same time, everybody had to ask permission to walk into the area of the medicine wheel.
Right.
And I mentioned that I didn't say anything. I walked in, but I didn't do that in a disrespectful manner, because I think that if there's something out there that could feel my intentions, they would see that I was there truly because I respect the area. I respect the history. And just to think about all the different ceremonies that occurred there, it's history. And I find history fascinating. And so even though I wasn't, specifically requesting permission to come onto the land in that particular area, if there was something there to fill my intentions, I think they probably would have felt that, okay, I buy it. He doesn't believe in me, but at least he was respectful. So we're cool. When we went up to that medicine wheel, Rod had mentioned that he kind of felt a reverence. He couldn't really explain it, but that's why I kept looking around. I was like, man, I'm not feeling it. Like, I don't feel that. I feel a respect. Like, I respect this land and what has occurred here. And I think it's super cool that we're standing on history, but I just didn't feel what he felt. But to sit there and have you as kind of that biological sensor and to see how you're reacting, I think that would be fascinating. Can I ask a question to Brad now?
Absolutely. Please do.
So Nan had mentioned earlier, way earlier today, because I've been talking way too much, that you have experienced stuff and seen stuff and you just kind of write it off. So tell me something.
Wow. Okay. So probably the earliest that I remember, and my mom has told me stories from when I was younger, but the earliest I really remember was when I was living at a house in Spanish Fork. I was probably first grade, maybe. I remember laying down in bed, going to sleep, and then waking up in the middle of the night, just randomly. I'm like, okay, why am I awake? And I kind of sat up in bed and I looked around and I looked down off the edge of my bed and there was a dude laying on the ground next to my bed. But I knew it wasn't a person like you or me. It was more shadowed, like Nan had talked about earlier. And I looked off the bed and it said, "Hi, Brad." I was like, holy shit. So here I am, first grader. I'm under the covers. I'm not moving.
Yeah, flip.
You know, Casper the Friendly Ghost has mean ghosts on it, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
absolutely.
This is not okay. So finally I got brave enough. I jumped up. I ran off the edge of the bed, jumped as far as I could away from the bed and out the door to my mom and dad's room. And they comforted me and whatnot and came back in and showed me it was okay and nothing was there and I was safe. But I know what I saw. Absolutely know what I saw.
Do you remember when we were first together, we were at your mom's house out by the fire pit, and you guys were telling this story, and that ghost came through and told me a message for you. Do you remember that and how he died?
I don't remember the message, but I do remember about it was a suicide in the basement.
But there's no way I would know that.
Right.
And your mom is the one that told us that that's what happened.
What the F?
No shit. So
Yeah.
so what would happen? So she'd have people over and they would, look behind them and she'd be like, "What are you doing? Are you okay?" "Well, no, somebody just touched my hair." "Well, no one else is in the room. You're sitting next to a window. No one touched your hair." But things like that would happen a lot in that house. So she ended up talking to the landlords and she's like, "I've got a weird question. Did someone die in this house?" And they're like, "Well, yeah, the son of some people who lived there actually hung himself in the basement." So, yeah,
And that's who Brad saw.
That's my first
Yeah.
real vivid memory of seeing something. And I've had a few experiences since then, but nothing quite as vivid as that.
So I'm interested in that one still. Did you feel anything with it other than being a kid and being scared of seeing a full grown male
Dude, in
laying
my
on your
room.
floor freaking you out? Did you feel like it meant you harm? Did you feel that, or could you even tell that at that age?
Do you know
Or
what
do you
that?
even remember?
Yeah, at that age, I didn't even realize it. And one of the things that my stepdad told me at the time, this kind of resonated with me. And look, I don't even know where he is or anything about the guy at this point. But he said, "Well, did you talk to it?" I was like, "No, you can do that." He goes, "Yeah, you should have asked, found out what he wanted. Maybe he was going to take you and show you a treasure somewhere." And I was like, huh. I hadn't thought about that. But it really, even at that young age, then I was like, oh, I hope I see him again because I'm going to ask him to show me his treasure.
Never saw him again.
Never saw him again. But it taught me something at that point that, look, you don't have to be afraid. Communicate. Just like you and I are sitting here talking. If there is a spirit here, we can talk and communicate to that spirit. If your ancestors are here, you can talk and communicate to your ancestors. I've used the example of Mulan before, right?
Mhm.
You've seen that with your daughter.
Oh, absolutely.
They revere their ancestors. They have shrines to their ancestors, and they talk to their ancestors and ask them for help. You see the same thing in South American culture. They have shrines to their ancestors. They talk to them. They ask them for help. We can do the same thing. Why is it something that in the West we have forgotten about that, or that we don't honor that anymore? Because it's very much a real thing. If you walk into our living room, you'll see a little shelf that has pictures of our loved ones who have passed. We honor them each day, and we absolutely call on them for help when we need them.
Interesting. I think religion has a lot to play with. That's why we don't do that.
You're absolutely.
And I don't mean to, because to each their own. If you want to be as religious as you want, that's fine. You want to be full LDS, fine, Catholic, whatever, I don't care.
Agreed.
It really doesn't bother me.
Right.
And I think if it makes you happy, great. If you're a good person, I don't care what you do. But I think that probably got lost because, you look at it like on Mulan, for example, they're not Catholics. They're not Christians. They're not Baptists. They're not anything. They're, if anything, what? Tao?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? If anything, I don't know. But then you come around with this idea of religion and you lose that. So what's the harm in being able to do both? What's
Well,
the
you
harm in
should.
having, and you should,
You should.
but what religions really teach that you should do that, and you should do that?
That's a great question. But if you think about religions, they're all man-made, all of them. So they're
Well,
right. And so
Yeah.
a lot of men, no offense, men out there, but a lot of men don't have that really strong intuition or desire to have that spiritual link to the other side. But women usually do. I mean, they're co-creators with God. We make babies in our bodies, you know, so we're naturally emotional and spiritual beings, right? And so you guys are physical beings, which is great. You know, there's balance in all things. But if you think about it, a man-made religion isn't going to teach you about the spirituality. Spirituality is kind of the female side of it. So you take religion and you blend it with the spirituality. It's whole, right? But for me personally, I'm in the spiritual realm so much. It's just become who I am, and I don't do the religion thing anymore. I've had enough of that, and that's just me. But I don't blame anyone for having religion, but please grab your spirituality because it's who you are. It's your link to God. It's your link to source. And there's so many beautiful gifts inside your toolbox that most people don't dare to even open.
Yeah, they don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? They can
Yeah.
absolutely coexist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that about religion, because that's one of my gripes with religion is, once again, you know, I personally believe in a higher power, whatever form that may take. That's my own personal belief, and that's what I think, and I don't need to tell anybody what I think or how I feel. I just think that there's
Right.
something's there.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants to believe, they want to be a Catholic, that's great, that's fine. But I'm with you, and it's 100% that I think somebody went to Catholic church one day and they realized that they just didn't like the way some priest was doing something. So they were like, well, I'm going to break off and I'm going to create this church. And this is how we're going to do things. And then somebody else breaks off and says, well, I'm going to do this with my
way.
church. I mean, look, Catholics have sacrament. Mormons have sacrament,
Right.
right? And they have
Well,
baptism.
If you look at the
It's just a different
Freemasons
type.
as well,
Absolutely.
we have those same things in the temples.
Yes.
Except for the temple has had to be switched a little bit to accommodate male and female because they're all brothers in the Freemasons.
Right.
You know, you can't very well do the same kinds of rituals or whatever with women that you would do with just men. So like, it's super interesting to me how religion has been like cherry picked, you know, and then brought into a man-made religion. And it's great. Genius, like whatever, you
Yeah.
know, they're stumbling around finding their way, you know, and kudos. I mean, the LDS religion, Mormons have a great foundation, you know, especially for families and things like that. But every religion cheats you out of your own birthright as a spiritual person. And that's something that is taboo. And I don't know why it's taboo, especially in the West. I don't understand that, but it's our intention to bring that to the forefront and have people wake up. This is who you are. You know, if you don't want to listen to the government, you don't want to listen to people in your church, listen to your soul. If it tells you not to do something, don't do it. Spirit will never lie to you. They're always trusting. You can trust them. And I've told lots of my clients and my psychic medium friends, sometimes I'd rather spend my time on the spiritual realm with people and different spirits than with humans.
Well, maybe I will get into it because I don't even like people.
You should. I highly recommend it.
I'm kidding. I mean, well, kind of kidding. I don't really like people.
Well,
as-
you have
as
three
know,
really
but
big gifts, so I think we should work on those.
like I said, I don't know, man. Maybe there's a part of me that's being stubborn because then I would have to admit that the shit's real. I'd have to. I couldn't be the skeptic anymore.
You wait till I lay you on my table and do energy work on you, and then you won't be able to even look back. You'll be like, psh, okay, done.
Now that shit, that's a whole different topic. We could go on that for hours. So I'm going to help you a little bit, Nan.
Okay.
So when Corey was murdered, Nan, she went through a lot of trauma, right?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. And so the first thing you think of is go get help, go get counseling, right? So she went to the counseling. She did talk therapy. She did EMDR. But it only took her so much, right? She only healed so far. And she was finally at that plateau where nothing else was helping. And she had a friend who said, look, go to this Tani person. She does energy work and she can help you.
To Tani.
And
that was on one of the first 2 podcasts I listened to,
Yes.
right? No, continue with
Yeah,
it though, because
absolutely.
I found it interesting. Continue.
and that's after she went to Tani, that was what started to get her those breakthroughs. So basically, when you have traumas, your body holds on to those traumas. So, all of your shoulder surgeries, your muscles will hold on to different traumas that happen in your life. So like, oh, I was emotionally hurt during this time frame or by this person. Your body will hold on to those traumas. It's a fight or flight thing, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. You know all about that and the psychology that goes along with it, but your body will hold on to those traumas. And what the energy work does is it helps process those traumas out. So it helps you go, oh, I have this here and my body's ready to work that out. Well, that was the work that really got Nan to the next level in the plateau. And she was really inspired to go, look, I can do this and help other people with it. And that's ultimately where she's taken it, is just, look, I want to help other people to heal like I have. It's really just kind of that next step. We have to heal everything, right? It's not just, I'm going to heal my body. It's not, I'm just going to heal my mind. We need to heal our soul and our energy and move fluidly again.
So, can I say something without offending anybody?
Maybe.
Of course.
Maybe.
Brad,
You know, Brad,
so
no,
easily.
Brad's probably looking at me going, since when do you give a shit? Since I care greatly about you guys and I don't want to offend in any way. But just me, and maybe Brad, you know this about me a little bit, and maybe you're starting to sense it a little bit, man, is that we start talking about this stuff and I start going, what a bunch of hippie bullshit. Right. And I mean, no offense by that.
Absolutely.
To either of you.
It's new to you. So
Yeah.
you're going to think that.
That's
Yeah.
actually a great phrase for it.
I just, but I do, I look at it and I go, everything you're sitting here saying, Brad, I'm going, I'm holding trauma in my muscles from blah, 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 blah.
Okay,
right?
we
And
need to push
I know
pause
that,
and put him on my table.
I know that's a narrow mindset.
I'm hungry for this.
I know that's a narrow mindset from me, and I know, and I understand that, and I understand people out there are going to be going, this guy is an idiot. Like, he was kind of open to some of this stuff, but he's not open
But
to
you
that.
don't know what you don't know.
But yeah, but I also kind of look at it and I go, what a crock of shit. Like, I don't know. I just,
exactly, you don't know.
okay, so
Well, let me
Go.
ask you this real quick. What do you think of EMDR?
it somewhat helped me.
Me too.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
But if you had heard about EMDR 15 years ago, you'd have been,
Well,
that
I
sounds
still-
like some hippy dippy bullshit.
And I still thought it was bullshit when I was doing it. And then I realized that, well, it helped a little bit with that issue. With just one particular thing that was bothering me out of a laundry list, it helped with a little bit with one. So I still kind of, and maybe it is, Nan. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's because my mind just isn't open to it. And I go into it going, this is bullshit. This is so stupid.
Okay, give me like 3 minutes and I'm going to explain energy work to you and see if you don't understand it more perfectly, okay?
So real quick.
Okay.
Sorry. I
You're good.
don't mean to, because I want you to get back to the shoulder thing.
Oh, I'm
because-
going to. That's
okay,
why I'm
all
going
right,
to do
perfect,
it.
Perfect.
Okay. So we're made of energy, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
99% energy, 1% mass. We have energy rivers in our body. So you've probably heard of qi before,
Mm-hmm.
Chinese medicine qi, right? Those are your meridians, okay? And meridians, those are rivers of energy that run through organs, glands, all kinds of body parts, your central nervous system, all those things, okay? So energy rivers, right? You also have your chakras. Do you know what those are?
I know it's some kind of Indian hippie stuff.
It's actually scientific, okay, Mr. History.
I know I'm being
Okay,
a jerk.
so you
being a
have
jerk,
you have
but-
7 main chakras that go from the base of your tailbone all the way up to above your crown, right? And each one stands for something different. They're each a different color. You can see on the wall right there. There's your 7 chakras. Now, these 7 chakras are wheels that are spinning of energy, and they do have different colors. I see them. Okay, so I can tell you different things about you by the colors that I see in your aura. Okay.
You can
that make
see
sense?
my aura
Yes, I can.
right now.
I'm not tuning into you right now, but I can if I wanted to. Yes, All I have to do is just like breathe 3 times and then just say,
Let's not do that
show
right
me
now.
Garrett. I could tell you where you're not feeling well because it'll be gray. I could tell you lots of stuff about you, like what you're trying to work on or what your confidence level is, if you're speaking your truth, if your gifts are open or if they're just starting to open, like all of those kinds of things, your chakras are going to tell me. But what they do is they run like a river in a 8, kind of like back and forth like a snake, all the way up your spine and back down, like a big long river. Okay. So now I want you to picture a river, any kind of river anywhere that's just going straight. What happens if you put a beaver down in the river? Beaver comes along, he builds his little dam. What happens? Backs up. Where's that all that water go?
It just keeps backing up, and the other side goes dry anyway. I mean,
Exactly. So the other side that goes dry, there's no energy there, right?
Mm-hmm.
It causes dis-ease. So if you have a beaver dam that is in your energy, it can be a stress, it can be a trauma, it can be a belief system, or it can be an emotion. And when you lay on my table, your body will talk to me, and I can show you how. It'll talk to me and tell me exactly what you need. And we'll go through your ages all the way down to conception and DNA, and then go all the way back from, don't poo-poo this until I'm done.
All right.
Then we'll go from DNA all the way up to conception to birth, all the way up to your age. And it will stop every single time you have a beaver down that needs to be healed. Your body ultimately is supposed to keep you safe. So it's not going to do everything at once, but what it will do is remove things that it's okay for you to heal at the time. Does that make sense? So, for example, my son that we just went to lunch with,
Yeah.
for the last,
Great kid, by the way.
he's awesome, isn't he?
I like him a lot.
But for over the last 20 years, he has had issues with his hips, extreme pain in his hips. He was looking at a hip replacement. Always, he can't stretch. He can't sleep right. Horrible pain. And you saw how jacked he is. Like he's ripped.
a
He's
big
got
kid.
some muscles, right?
Yeah.
The kid can do a handstand and do push-ups on his handstand. But when I started my muscle testing on him, he couldn't hold any of his muscles because his muscles were in fight or flight. So you know about fight or flight. What happens? What are your first muscles that start to lock when you know you're going to fight or flight? There's a threat. What's your first ones? You just did it. What is it? It's your jaws. Yeah, your jaws hit, then your arms hit, right? And you're supposed to protect your core, right? And then you're going to get ready to run. That's your muscles kicking in. Your body's protecting you. That's what his job is to do, or my job is her, right? But that's what happens. What happens with a lot of people is that stays in your energy. Everything's energy. That threat stays in your energy. And then we continue holding it. And we hold it, and we hold it, and we hold it, and we hold it, and we hold it. And the next time, let's say it was a dog that was our threat, our trauma at the time it's chasing us. Every time we see a dog, we go back into fight or flight, right? And so it's a reminder. We keep getting it back and forth and back and forth. You probably have had a lot of PTSD that has come up, and it's like yesterday. You remember it like yesterday because you go back into fight or flight. Anytime you remember anything, those things will keep bubbling up until you allow it to pass through you. You understand it, and your energy releases it, and your body says, okay, I'm safe. And it releases the jaws, it releases the arms, it releases the legs. And then all of a sudden, the dis-ease or the beaver dam is removed, and then that energy flow comes right through. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. Your body is meant to heal itself. You just have to keep those energy flows going all the time. So depression, autoimmune disorders, I could go on and on and on. I mean, I had those things, depression, autoimmune disorders. I had rheumatoid arthritis. I've done my work and I don't have any of them. I'm not on anything other than hormones because I'm an old lady. But,
Sure. Right.
but the energy work did that. And there's a reason why I can talk about Corey's murder and not well up and lose my shit. I mean, we're literally weeks away from the anniversary.
Right.
And I can talk about it because it doesn't equal, my trauma doesn't equal my belief system. It doesn't equal an emotion anymore. That's gone. And it's something that happened. It's something that happened to me, and I'm safe. I'm okay. But believe me, when it happened, I did not feel safe. I did not feel safe for a long time.
Sure.
I thought I was going to die. And by the time I ended up with the energy worker, my body was in such strong fight or flight. She was dying. My systems were starting to shut down. I had so many beaver dams going on in my body. I was dying. I was literally dying. And she had to one at a time remove them because my body wouldn't let her do all of them at once, right? I have to stay safe. But one at a time, move them out. And pretty much over about 18 months period of time, they're gone.
So I remember you saying that in it's either the first or the second podcast. and talking about that very thing. So a couple of questions. Because once again, it's a lot to unpack for me in my head and to think about. Some of it definitely makes sense to me. Some of it I'm still going, I don't know, jury's out. But it doesn't mean I'm not open to thinking about it. Does she tell you because she can see it in your body, or you, if you're looking at Brad, can see it in his body where those issues and those blockages are?
Oh,
Or,
no.
I mean,
We talk to your body says it.
okay.
You're going to have to explain
Yeah, because-
what
Okay,
that means.
so-
Because that's hippie bullshit again to me. And not
It's
being
not.
rude, but I'm going, my body's telling you.
100%. 100%. So have you ever
our
heard
kids
of...
call it the voodoo shit.
Yeah, they're like, Mom, do your voodoo shit on me.
Oh.
There's 300 different kinds of balances that you can do. But what you do is you use kinesiology. So I talk to your muscles. So the main muscle that I'll work with is your brachioradialis, and it's right here. When your muscles, you know how muscles lay, they go this way.
Yep.
If you squeeze the muscle together, you squeeze spindle cells together, and you can get a muscle to relax. You can also get a muscle to lengthen. So you can talk to a body, and the body will tell you things. Hopefully before you leave, you'll lay on my table and I can just show you, because it's easier for you to experience. It's wild. It's really wild. But I always stand in reverent awe, because you don't have to tell me anything. I don't need to know anything about you. But we'll find out if your electrolytes are off. We'll find out what chakras are off and what your belief systems are. We'll find out what ages you had traumas or stresses that happen. We can also tell you if it was a male, female, or your self energy that caused these issues, the traumas, the emotions, the stresses. We can pinpoint it. And the thing is, the part of this that's hard for people is that they will emotionally go back to that place and they'll emotionally process it. So a lot of people will sob on my table because they're processing it in their brain. And in order to release it, it kind of leaks out your eyes a little bit. But it'll hit exactly the ages, what happened, if it was male, female, self. And I can test your body about anything. Heck, I could show you this flower of life right now and show you how your phone blows your whole energy systems out, and then put the flower of life on there and you'd be fine. Like, it's wild. The body is made to do this, but this is scientific. Like, this isn't even woohoo stuff. This has been done for 30 years. People do it all the time.
Yeah, but how can, we talk about, and for better or worse, I'm kind of that, show me proof, Brad. Show me proof, man. Like, I
Right.
want to see proof. Proof to me isn't that I'm laying there and you tell me that my body's telling you this. Well, how do you prove that?
Well, what
Or
I
can
do
you?
is I do a 14 muscle balance on you before. And with each muscle balance, there's a meridian that runs through each muscle, okay? And if a muscle, let's say I have you put your arm out like this and I push and you can't hold it, it just falls, okay? There's a belief system that is in that meridian. So it could be fear versus trust. It could be resistance versus transformation. There's a belief system in each meridian. And so as I'm doing a 14 muscle balance, I'll find out where you're under energied and where you're over energied. So we can find out where the beaver dam is. And then we go and remove the beaver dam so that the energy will flow. But it'll always be exactly what's going on with you. You'll just be like, how the heck? So I was talking about Shay and his hips, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did a balance on him the very first day he was here and his hips stopped hurting. He was like, how? I'm like, you've been carrying trauma in your hips. It's your fight or flight. You were running and you've been running for 20 years. He's like, yeah, I have. Oh my gosh. And his hips haven't hurt at all. There'll be certain days where they'll start to ache and he'll be like, Mom, they're hurting again. And it'll revert back to that belief system again. We'll rebalance it. Doesn't hurt again. So it's just a matter of removing the beaver dams, and the body won't do everything at once because it can be dangerous. Like, it can send you into shock. It can do different things to your electrolytes. Energy has to have electrolytes and water in order to move. Remember, I said water is a conduit to energy and the other side. So the two things are kind of hooked together. Super, super interesting. And I've seen so many miracles where people just heal right on the table. My granddaughter, for example, she had copper issues. She was super hyper. She couldn't concentrate on anything. Her copper issues were handed down from grandmother to mother to her. Always issues. And they came to visit with us and they were in a 5-car pileup on the freeway on their way. And I said, well, let me balance all of you and you guys, your muscles will be okay because they won't be in fight or flight from the trauma, right? So balanced all of them. My little granddaughter gets on the table and I'm like, ooh, copper. Okay, copper's off. And her mom's like, how do you know? And I'm like, her body just told me. It's not me. I'm a conduit, just like I am when I'm a medium. I'm just a conduit to the other side. And so we balanced it. There's some things that we do in a heavy metal balance. We balanced it, and she has not had issues with copper since. And this was several years ago, right?
Well, and the thing that she didn't really clarify was that they had tests done on her prior to them coming here.
That proved that it
And
was a
one of the-
copper deficiency
Yes.
or
Yes.
overabundance. Or,
Right. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things that the doctor was like, hey, you have this copper issue. So it was something Nan wouldn't have known. Didn't
which
know.
goes to my point of scientific proof.
Exactly.
And that for me is one of those small building blocks.
It's a river of energy. So it's just a matter of releasing it, because our bodies are made perfect. All we have to do is make sure our energy centers are running the way they're supposed to, and nothing will make us sick or depressed or anything. We're not made to do that. But we as humans take these things and we just hold, our belief systems or our stresses or our emotions like little nutsacks against our body. Like, oh, this is part of who I am. And it's not.
Did you just say like little
I said
nutsacks?
nutsacks.
She did. And I wasn't even going to touch it.
I'm disappointed that you didn't. I looked up at you like,
I know because I'm like, I feel like I've been a little disrespectful here because
you're totally not.
I'm not trying to, but when you say that I had weaknesses there, okay, Brad, lay your arm up here. I take a bat and I hit it and I break your arm in half and I say, well, that wouldn't have happened if you didn't have weaknesses that were already in your bone. Do you
That's a
see
valid
where I'm
point.
coming from with
understand. Yeah,
that?
that's
And
valid.
that's where I look at it and I go, I can't buy that, but
Okay.
I can buy the stuff you're talking about, copper that was proven.
Right.
Like-
But let's take my dog, for example. We just told you how she had an industrial accident, how she got run over by my father-in-law's truck, her whole body. When she went into the
Broke my
doctor, I can show you the x-rays. She went into the doctor, she had blood in her lungs. Her abdomen was full of blood. Her pelvis was shattered. Her back leg was completely shattered, and her other hip was broken. They didn't think she was going to make it through the night. And the whole night I did energy work on her remotely. And the next morning at 8 a.m., we showed up at the doctor's office, and he took her in carefully and put her under the x-ray machine, and her lungs, the bleeding in her lungs was gone. The bleeding in her abdomen, gone. Okay. And the only thing was left that we had to deal with were the broken bones. And so that's why she had her leg amputated. She has been a trooper ever since. But energy is everything. We are all energy. So if you have a dis-ease, my gallbladder, my knee, your shoulder, his shoulder, like it's a belief system that's sitting there, and we may not know it's there, but it's where you got dis-ease. It's where things have happened. Things, you know what I mean? That's where we hold it. I'm not saying that your accident that you had you deserved it because, you had this belief system sitting there.
No.
You were going to have issues with that anyways because you hold them there. Does that make sense?
So are you saying
Okay.
maybe the accident or the injury increased the rate of maybe that would
I was
have
gonna say.
deteriorated? Is that-
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So like you would have had issues there anyway, but you had this injury which just increased the time frame.
Basically.
Yeah. That puts it into,
Look at my kids that got in the 5-car pileup. They run 55 miles an hour, right? So in all rights, they should at least have whiplash, right?
oh yeah.
So I balanced them. I did a whiplash balance on them. I did a pain balance on them. I balanced all of their muscles so that their muscles didn't hold the fight or flight. They didn't have to be sick. They had to know, okay, it's okay to release. You're safe. It's okay. They didn't have a single sore muscle, except for my daughter-in-law had a couple bruises, but nobody had any issues. None of them from a 5-car pileup going 55 miles an hour. So
Following too close.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
My son has that issue. Yeah. But he was the 4th car back.
That's interesting. It kind of puts it in perspective. I understand what you're saying a little bit better because I think Brad had to speak dumb guy to me to break down the shoulder thing
Honey,
to
thanks
where
for translating.
Well,
Yeah.
it was me trying to understand as well and making sure that I was on the same page.
Right. Well, and you've been around this all the time. I balance you all the time. So
True.
well, so isn't that like a little bit freaky that your wife can you can't hide shit from her? Not that you would want to hide anything from your wife, but because me, I deal with pain every day of my life. And something I talked about, did you ever listen to the FOP podcast? When
I
was on,
absolutely
right?
did. And I really appreciated your candor.
Yeah,
It was an amazing podcast.
So every day of my life, I live in pain now. And I usually sit about an 8 every day. Like
Wow.
just sitting here, it's my shoulders are done.
Yeah.
You know, they're full of arthritis. It is what it is. I don't know. Maybe this is somewhat hippy dippy that I do. I can sit there when the pain gets just unbearable. It gets to the point where I'm just sitting there and I'm just hurting. I had to pull off the side of the road and do it on the way down here. My back was hurting. My shoulders were hurting, but I can sit there and just kind of concentrate. And like my shoulder and my neck were just killing me. And I pulled off to the side of the road. And one of the things that my dad kind of taught me, because he put up with a lot of pain, is kind of pain transference, or just, as we like to call it between my dad and I, pain dissipation. So what I do is I sit there and I just kind of concentrate and I focus on the pain in my shoulder, but then I disperse it over my entire body. So then it's more manageable because it's not just in one spot.
One spot. Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe that's kind of a hippie.
That's hippie as shit, dude.
That's
hippie as shit.
I don't think it's as
Fuck yeah,
I
that's
don't think
hippie as
it's as hippie as chakras and
It's
conduits.
It
and
absolutely is. That's like G goes into this Zen meditation and starts controlling the way he breathes.
I say it a lot better than that, so it
Controls-
doesn't sound hippie.
Yeah, you go, yeah, I combat breathe and move my pain away. It's the same thing. It's literally a meditation. Dude, that's you may as well live on go live on a commune, dude.
Oh, come
Yeah,
on.
do you belong to a
Come
cult?
on. You're such a dick. Dude.
No,
All right.
that is super cool. Number one, that you are able to do that is amazing.
That
Do you
is
know
amazing.
how many people would love to be able to learn that exact skill?
Well, and here's the thing is it took me years to be able to do that because like I said, I haven't had a pain pill since 2019. And just to get the pain to stop, I damn near will do anything except that again. I'll never take another pill. I don't care what.
Oh, so you're saying
what
you'll
it
lay
is.
on my table then? Yeah.
If you're saying it will, okay, look, here's the thing.
It can't hurt.
It can't hurt. And there's a thing where I'm starting to think, okay, maybe I'm open to it. But here's my problem. And I kind of talked about it earlier, is that I think the whole time I'm laying there, I'm going to be going, this is some stupid shit. You know, really.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. The first time I went to Tani, I'm like, what is this weird shit? And she's kind of dancing around all weird. And I'm like, what are you doing, lady?
See, that-
Feeling my leg. And then like 2 days later, and this emotion just, boom, it hits me. And we're on a walk and the tears just start coming out. And I'm like, holy shit. She told me that I had a trauma that I had to process that was from when I was this many years old, and it was a female trauma. And then I just realized this is what it was. Like, and so I started talking to Nan, and she just kind of held me as I was like crying.
It took him to his knees.
It was one of those things where I was like so overwhelmed with the emotion. I literally just had to stop. And it did. I kind of went down to my knees and I just breathed for a few minutes and just let it process. I felt it and let it go. And it was like, that's exactly what Tani told me I needed to work on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how she knew. I don't know where it came from. But Nan was like, oh, your body told her. I'm like, oh, okay. Gee,
So-
I don't know
so-
how. I don't know how it works.
But the whole time you're laying there, you're calling bullshit.
Oh yeah,
right? In
I was
your
like,
head, right?
I was like, what do you mean? I said yes to that. My body feels exactly the same. You're pushing harder, you know. Because she'll do this muscle test thing, and I'm like, okay, that didn't change. You just pushed harder. No, that was legitimately my body telling her exactly what she asked.
So even if Nan, I'm laying there and mentally I'm shut off and I'm saying, whatever, this is dumb. I don't believe this. Not a chance in hell. You're able to see past that, even though I'm kind of putting up that bad aura of fighting
Here's
you.
the thing: is that one of the very first things I do is ask your body permission to test. And if your body says no, I won't. There's no way. So, but if
Well,
your body
but see,
gives me
isn't that
permission,
me saying it?
no, it's your body. Do you want me to show you how?
I don't know.
I think
yeah.
I think you would be fascinating. Actually, you would be a playground for me.
Oh shit, man, that's scary. You're talking about breaking down crying. I got to drive 4 hours to get home, dude. I can't be breaking down and crying, bringing it to my knees, driving off the road. Thanks a lot, Nan.
Oh my gosh, we could just do a pain balance on you, so you're not in pain as you go home.
Well, is it? Let me ask you this: what you were just talking about? Is it something simple to do where I don't have to lay down and do any of that stuff, or do you have to lay down so you can figure stuff out? And
Well, it's more comfortable for you. I could do it while you're sitting there, or you can stand up or whatever, but it's more comfortable for you to lay down. And especially on your very first time, I tell you what your body's doing. Watch this. Watch what it's saying to me. Can you see this? Like, watch what it does. And you'll be like, holy balls, how? Like, how? I've had several clients just lately, like, I'll muscle test them and their muscles don't hold. And then I tell them, oh, this is your belief system right now. And they'll be like, you don't even know me. I'm like, no, but your body knows you. And this is what she's saying. It's fascinating.
so, all right, for a dumb guy like me,
You're not dumb.
well, I am, and it's okay.
You're stubborn, but you're not dumb.
Well, I don't know. I'll argue with that, and I have 2 ex-wives and 2 ex-girlfriends. And a daughter that would all argue with that and say, yeah, he's pretty dumb. And Brad would probably agree too. He's been with me long enough on stuff that he knows I'm not smart. But
I disagree.
Thank you.
I'm not fishing for compliments here, guys. Just be quiet. Let me get this question out. So what my question is, tell me the difference between me saying, yeah, sure, you can do it, and my body. And I'm not, once again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I'm not taking it that way.
Okay.
You're legit concern or asking questions, right?
Yeah, because I'm questioning. I'm trying to learn.
I appreciate that.
I'm not like a lot of people, and maybe it's our cop background, is that, if I ask a question, it's not just to give me a simple answer. No, I want the truth for what's going on here, and I want the kind of the real answer, so to speak. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying, right, Brad?
That's why we make good cynics.
Right, exactly. Because I'm trying to be as clear as possible with it. So if me saying, yeah, sure.
That's verbal permission.
Well, but
Okay.
how is my body is me?
No, your energy is your energy. Your body is your body. So body, mind, and soul, those are the 3 things we have to heal, right? So you verbally give me permission. That doesn't give me energetic permission. Your body can be like, nope, I'm in crisis right now and I don't want you to touch me.
She's actually
No.
had clients who come in. They want to come in and get a balance. And she tests the body and she's like, hey,
I'm sorry.
your body's not
We can't do it right now.
ready.
But hold on here. And here's an honest question. So body, mind, soul, right?
Yes.
Soul is the energy.
It's part of your energy. Yeah.
Okay. Energy is what makes me alive. If the energy's not there, if my soul's not there, my body and mind don't matter. So I am my energy. So don't I control my mind and my body?
You
And
don't
if that's the case, why don't I? Why don't I control my mind and my body?
Well, you do, but also things around you do, right? As you're learning every single day, you don't have control over the things you're learning, just like you don't have control over what you're learning right now, right? It's going into your energy, and your body and your mind are trying to wrap their heads around what you're learning. But your energy knows exactly. I could go test your energy right now, and your energy would be like, oh yeah, this is home.
I'm not sure if that answered the question because I'm still confused.
Yeah, because
You're a guy, though.
Exactly. You've got to dumb it
well,
down.
yeah,
You
you got to
guys.
dumb it down for me because. Do you see what I'm saying with that question, Brad?
Yeah. Like, look, this is my energy field. Why, if my energy says yes, would my body, which is also my energy,
No,
say
your body
no?
is not. Your body is your mass.
Right. And I think that's what he was asking. Like,
Right.
isn't it all the same?
It's not all the same.
Okay.
Your energy is part of your spirit. You're together. So your energy holds everything universal about you. Okay. So it holds all of your memories, all of your emotions, like everything that's ever happened to you in your life. It holds that like a library. Okay. Things that are happening to you on a daily basis. Your chakra colors can be different colors depending on what's happening with you at the time. If you're not grounded to Mother Earth and like your thoughts are flying all over the place, your root chakra will be probably kind of small or blocked off, but we can restore the energy to that root chakra and it can be bright red again. And you'll start to feel grounded to Mother Earth and you can focus, you can speak your truth, you can do all the things that you need to do. So energy is part of your spirit. The thing is with energy, as you're correcting energy, you correct the body, and that's the muscles. So your neurovascular system, your brain, the way it fires back and forth, all runs on energy. Remember, your electrolytes runs on energy.
Mm-hmm.
We're made of water, energy. So energy runs through the water, which is our blood. So like everything is connected, and you have to find balance between all of those things. And most of us just don't know what we don't know about energy, and we don't know what we don't know about spirit. So we just never address those things. We do the talk therapy, which is awesome, or we just can't handle it in our mind anymore. And the depression's so deep, we just take the pills, which I've done that. You got to do that sometimes just to turn things off for a second. But when you have to turn things back on, all those memories are still there in your energy, and you still have to deal with them. You still have to learn how to do it, because us as souls, we're here to experience all things. We're here to release them. So if we don't learn how to do that, we can come back and do it again, but you may as well just give in and just do it now.
Well, that's a good point, because I don't want to go through this shit again.
Right?
Ditto.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I hope I get it right
Yes.
this time then, because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brad.
No, you're right. I don't want to do it again either. But what I was going to say was, so essentially the energy flows through the body. The body just kind of gives it that conduit to flow through. Is that?
Well, it's your
Like it's-
house for your energy, right? It's the house for your soul, your spirit, right? So you hear this saying all the time, we're just spiritual beings having a human experience, or we're in this meat suit. But, when someone dies, you talked about it earlier, they leave and that's not them anymore. It's just dust, right? It's
Right.
just nothing. Their sparkle's gone. And that's what makes us us. And that's the part of us that we take with us. But that's all energy, all of it. And that's when I work with the other side, I blend with that same energy that I work with when I'm on a table, have somebody on my table. Same.
Interesting. I'm slowly coming around.
He's going to have nightmares.
No, because I don't sleep. Remember? So
You get on my table tonight, honey.
Yeah, you actually called that. How did you know he didn't sleep?
I'm a psychic medium.
yeah, no, wait a minute.
Do you remember that? She's like, yeah.
That's
you
a good
have
damn
problems
point.
sleeping.
I was sitting here when she said that, and I was like, I must have mentioned something about, yeah. No, wait a minute. No, hold on. Let's back up to that. How did you, because you said it. No, I am like, wait, I'm kind of like blown away now for a second here, because you said it in the most nonchalant, like you and I have talked about it before manner. At some point, I can't wait till this comes out so I can hear that again, because it was, and like you have trouble sleeping. And I was like, yeah, I must have told Nan about that at some point in time, or at least I told Brad, and Brad told her, and that's all I thought. But that's a very good point. How did you see that? What did you see?
It's one of the clairs. I can just sense that you don't sleep. I didn't see anything. I felt you. I can feel you.
So,
cut the shit, G.
holy shit.
You asked earlier,
I'm
what's
kinda
it like
freaked out.
being married to someone who knows this stuff?
Yeah, see that dude, you can't get away with shit. Like, you didn't sleep last night. Sure I did. No, you didn't.
Oh, and she calls me on it too. She's like, your shoulder's hurting today, isn't it? No, I'm fine, Brad. Yeah.
That's crazy. And I don't mean crazy in a bad way. That's crazy, like blows my mind crazy, because people know that I don't sleep because I tell them, I don't sleep well.
I don't know
but-
you well enough to know.
Exactly.
That, though.
Exactly.
This
And-
is like the real first conversation we've ever
And
really
you
had,
legit
so.
said that in the most casual manner of like, and you, Gia, yeah, I know you don't sleep. And like, yeah, she's right. I was like, but how, that, like, I didn't sleep last night a wink.
Oh, that's not good.
But there's the thing. I go days at a time where I don't sleep. So I'll be up and I'll get tired in maybe the middle of the day. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to sleep till tomorrow. And I'll go to lay down and I'm wide awake. And then that happened. So yeah, I haven't slept for 2 nights straight.
But you have racing thoughts all the time, right? Like your
mine
brain's
just not
going
shut
100
down.
miles an
No.
hour. And no,
No, that's the problem.
you don't have racing thoughts.
No.
Really?
I don't. I literally have nothing to think about right now.
So what do you do? How do you manage with that?
I could, because I'll go 2 days, 2.5 days, and then it's finally to the point where I think my body just goes, I don't care, dude, you're out. And I'll finally crash. But I can't control what time I crash, whether it's middle of the day till, 3 o'clock in the morning, or whether it's, 10 o'clock at night until 8 o'clock in the morning. Nan, now that you say that, hold on. No, yeah, over the last, damn it, I hate eating my words.
That's okay.
Because I started thinking about it and I was like, no, my mind's not.
But I told you
Shit.
earlier that you're not grounded. And when you're not grounded, you have the flying thoughts. You can't focus. You have issues with staying on task with something, and you get frustrated with yourself.
I hate this. What the hell, man? Maybe there is something to this hippy dippy.
I know. We should change it. Instead of the Mormon medium, it
The
should
hippy
be
dippy.
the
The hippy
hippy
dippy.
medium. We're changing my name.
It just doesn't sound as good. It
doesn't.
doesn't sound as good. Mormon medium's perfect. No, but that's you're slowly getting me to start believing in a lot of this stuff, which I didn't think was possible, because I came down here really thinking, oh man, I'm going to ask some tough questions and just not going to be able to answer the questions that I have. And everything I've asked, and I've asked some pretty poignant questions with stuff that I've have thoughts about, because I'm looking at it going, okay, I'm a skeptic. What would somebody that is even more of a skeptic than me want to hear asked?
Yes.
Right.
And that's what
Right.
what we wanted, right?
Exactly.
That's-
Yeah. We appreciate that.
And it blows me away, because there hasn't been one thing like Brad and I talked about giving answers in SWAT school where it's, I don't know the answer, but I'll find out. There hasn't been a single question I've asked where you've had to go, well, let me think about that. Or it's just bam. And it's pretty incredible.
Thank you. You have to realize I've spent the last 9 years of my life trying to figure this shit out. And I've delved into it. There's a reason why I haven't been in religion, because I've tried to figure this out. I've tried to make it tangible, because like I said before, I don't just understand or fall for things just because people tell me. Like, I have to have hardcore proof, and I have it. I don't have a problem sharing that with you, and also showing you how you can find it out for yourself. I love a skeptic. Bring it.
No, and that's super cool.
Yeah, don't take my word for it. You find out for you.
Yeah.
Just be open. Have you seen Ted Lasso?
I was going to watch it. Let's put it this way. I was going to watch it because obviously it's a soccer show, right? And it's about the coach and
Yeah.
whatever. And,
Yeah, I'm shocked
and I was
you
going
haven't.
to, but I don't have Apple TV. So
I'll give you my password. You can go
Yeah,
watch it.
you've
okay?
got Ted Lasso is such a good show.
I heard it's actually
literally
really good.
One of
It's
my
got-
very favorite shows of all time. But Ted in it has one of my favorite sayings, and it says, "Be curious, not judgmental." So be open and curious as to what you can learn about stuff you don't know about, because you might just find out that you're bigger and better than you ever dreamed you were.
That's pretty cool. That actually is a good saying, because for the most part, I try to be curious and not judgmental about things. I mean, yeah, I said, yeah, to me, that's just some hippy dippy bullshit. But if I left it there, then I don't think I would be curious enough to ask any more questions, because I'm still curious,
Yeah,
right? Like I'm
yeah.
curious. I'm going, I don't think I'm curious enough to want to get into tapping into seeing spirits and that shit, because I don't know.
Give yourself some time.
I don't know. But this other stuff that could possibly help with, the pain, at least my physical pain. I mean, that would be something interesting.
For me, it seems to help with my emotional issues more than my physical issues.
That's because Brad's half woman.
Do you know what? I don't judge you.
Yes, you do.
Don't judge me.
I knew there was something about him that I liked.
He pops a pinky when he drinks.
Yeah.
I do. And you know what? I also hold my wine glass by the stem,
I
because I'm not
know.
a heathen.
I know.
He also drinks this out of a straw like this.
He actually does. Actually.
But no, I mean, I don't know. I think I've asked a whole lot of stuff, and I don't know if you guys want to keep talking, but it's my brain is kind of full.
Yeah. We went over a lot of stuff.
We did.
But I feel truly lucky to have been able to come down here and sit with you guys for this long.
We have loved every minute with you.
Yeah.
I have. I love it. Like I said, I love a skeptic, but you're a friend. So I think it's awesome. And I love that you come in as a cynic. I love that. I used to be that way, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, G, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. For those of you who are out there listening, the podcast is PSS After Hours. You can listen to LTG be the cynic over lots and lots of amazing ghost stories. G, do you have anything you'd like to say to our listeners?
Well, one thing real quick is I'm not sure if I keep talking to Nan and you, how much more longer I'm going to be a cynic. I mean, it's going to be hard to keep playing that role, right? No, but that's kind of serious, to be perfectly honest with you, because my mind has been blown today. No, I just want to thank both of you once again. The only thing I want to say is I want to end with something. Be safe, watch your six, keep your powder dry.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing. Nanette?
This has just been amazing. It's okay to be a cynic. It's okay to ask questions, but be curious. Be curious, because there's things out there that are spiritual that can bring more richness to your life and help you realize what your spiritual gifts are and help you have a connection to the other side.
Thank you so much, guys. And thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the other side of the veil.